Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sakinah. I'm from PBI1. In this video, I will answer questions from meeting 2. So the first question is, please mention and explain briefly the components of communication process. So the main components of communication process are, the first is context. Communication is affected by the context in which it takes place. This context may be physical, social, cultural, or chronological. Every communication is proceed with context. The sender chooses the message to communicate with the context. The second is sender, encoder to sender. So encoder is the person who send the message. A sender makes use of symbol. It can be words or graphic or visual aids to convey the message and produce the required response. The third is message. Message is the key idea of the sender to communicate. And then medium for transmit the message. And then decoder or recipient. So decoder is the person from whom the message is intended. And then the last is feedbacks. Feedback is the main component of communication, as it permits to efficiency of the communication. The efficiency of the message. And the second question is, why do humans need a language? It's because a language is useful for communication, storing information in mind, reasoning, particularly when it's done at large scale and with multiple agencies, involves sharing concept and associate knowledge, passing on knowledge from one generation to another, supporting problem-solving activities, developing collective skills, providing identity, entertainment, singing, dancing, and so on. And then the third question is, please give your opinion about the periods. Dutch period, Dependence period, Independence period of English teaching in Indonesia. Which one do you think the best English teaching period? So the first period is the Dutch period. In my opinion, in this period, English teaching was good because textbooks and supplementary were plentiful, and the teacher were also well paid, and they read a number of books which it's so useful to learn English. So from reading they can writing, and then they can use it, they can memorize it, they can use it for speaking. So they, as the result, they can use it, they can good at reading, speaking, and writing. And then the second period is Dependence period. In my opinion, English teaching this period was not really good because a lot of books were translated to Indonesian, so they were not really focused in learning English. And then the third is the Independence period. English teaching in this period was not really work because most English in this period learn about grammar. English classes were virtually grammar teaching, so reading was not much emphasis. And then the teacher virtually paid no attention, and they were not really proficient in that skills. So that period was not really work to English teaching. So for me, from all those periods, I think the best period English teaching in Indonesia was in the Dutch period because it was a good period. They were reading, and then they can writing, and then they speaking, because I think for learn English, reading is very important. The fourth is, in your opinion, what is the status of English compared to Indonesia nowadays? So in this question, in my opinion, I think according to the way English is used and seen in Indonesia nowadays, it is useful to know something about historical, political, social, cultural, and linguistic factors have shaped. So it's the status of English in Indonesia nowadays. Last question is, what is the function of English in Indonesia? For me, the function of English in Indonesia is very useful, and it's very important because, as we know, that English is an international language. So if you want to go to everywhere, all over the world, you just and you know English, you can communicate with people from all over the world. But beside that, English in Indonesia is very useful for develop the context of post-colonial education, competency building, and more recently for support development, in particular role in education, and then expressing fears of its power to expert negative cultural influences, and so on. I think that's all my answers from for these questions. Meeting 2. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.